Hey folks, intermission time. So, yeah, a little bit done on my Footsteps Through Time adventure series. I just want to kind of go over what's happened and what to expect next. So, first thing I want to say is it's not about the videos. It never has been about the videos. It's always been about the pictures. And video is kind of a bonus. The camera I had actually was capable of video. That's the only reason I was actually doing video. So it was never about the videos. I get a lot of, well, not a lot. I rarely get dislikes on my videos. I'm not patting myself on the back. I do kind of a range of video types, video styles to appeal to different people, and sometimes I will know ahead of time whether I'm going to get a dislike or not. I've been doing this a while, so I kind of, I know what people are interested in now. But every Footsteps Through Time video that I've had out, I've got dislikes on. I don't know how many. YouTube only shows me the likes, and it gives me a percentage. If it's 100%, then there's no dislikes. If it's like 96%, 37%, something like that, then I know there's dislikes. It doesn't tell me how many dislikes, and that's not because of the recent change where you can't see them. They've never shown it, so it's not, as far back as I can remember anyways. But the dislikes are there, and I didn't realize the sun was that low in the sky. Wow. It's only like 3 o'clock. So, up to this point, the only videos that I know for sure are going to get dislikes, and that's my fire department audio videos. I'm pretty much guaranteed to get dislikes on those. But I do those for an audience that's kind of outside my regular viewers. It's crunchy out there today. It's everything's frozen. The roads are icy. So, okay. So as far as Footsteps Through Time, I'm not sure if you're paying attention, if you're interested in them. If you're not interested, it's no big deal. I'm doing it for me. This is making me feel good, sharing my memories of a time that was as close to perfect as my life has ever been. So I'm doing it for me. And if you're watching, if you're interested, then I'm sure you've noticed already a huge improvement from when I first started. Like I say, it was photographing people is something that I was never really into, especially kids. It's not exactly easy, I guess you could say, but it was something that it was just starting, and I was trying to learn the best way of doing it, I guess you could say. And when they got their swimming pool, that was kind of a practice. Just, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't, okay, here it is, let's do this, right? It's just kind of, well, let's see what happens. So once we went out to the conservation area, and I just started following them around, that's when things really started to click in my mind. It's like, hey, I might actually be able to do this. And we did the official photo shoot at the park, and none of us really enjoyed that. The boys just wanted to play, have fun. So that's what I started doing. So one thing I do want to mention is nobody's asked about this yet, but If you remember a while back, somebody had that nasty comment on the boys that appeared in my video. Am I worried about that? No. And several reasons for that. First of all, I didn't intentionally put those kids in my video. They just happened to appear on the route that I was taking. And like I say, I would have stayed back longer until I had more room to pass, but I just didn't want them there. That's why I just kind of passed them when I did. And those are current boys. They exist right now. And I can't protect them because they're not mine. That's what upset me most about it. As far as the boys in my series go, Zach and Ken, they're in their 20s now. I'm connected to them. And they're already out there. I'm not, introducing them to the world. They're already out there. They're on stock image sites. And they have been for years. So it's not anything that's I'm introducing that's new. And when we first started doing it, when I first started doing this, I had conversation with their parents, and we were talking about different things that we could do. And we discussed this in depth. And that's, I don't know how to really explain it. But we did talk about it. We talked about the concerns of making the boys public. And it's just something that we did. Almost everybody you will see in these pictures, I have photo releases for. They're paid models. They got paid for almost everything that we did. And every time we had a planned outing, they were paid for that. Which caused its own issues. We were in Walmart one day, and they're in the toy aisle. The two boys were in the toy aisle, looking for something, and I was somewhere else in the store, so I didn't know what was going on. Well, they bought. Oh, I can't think of what they're called now. It's for a card. It's a big plastic thing that straps to your arm, and some kind of playing card. Trading cards, I'm not even sure what to call them, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, something like that. And this thing holds the cards, and you just kind of play. I can't remember what that's called, but that's what they were buying. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody by calling it a card game. I'm not sure what to call it. But it was Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or something. And you had this thing that's strapped to your arm, and that's what they were buying. Well, apparently, one of their friends was there and asked them where they got the money from. And like I say, I wasn't there, so I couldn't say anything. But apparently Zach said that his pictures are being sold on the internet. Which wasn't a lie, but you know what the thinking is, right? So apparently this kid told his mother, and next thing you know, the police are at the door. Which was quite a shock, to say the least. But I explained, the parents explained what was going on. The police looked through the pictures, and everything was fine. And it really pisses me off that people do that. At least ask the parents about it first. Get some information before you jump to conclusions like that. And if you're not satisfied with, the explanation, then get the police involved. Don't just a kid telling a kid and then a kid telling the parent, you're not going to have accurate information, okay? But it kind of angered me, but at the same time I understood why they did it. Because, the way Zach told me exactly what he said, and yeah, I understand the confusion there. But even still, that the parents should have came to us first. But anyways, it's, that was a kind of a an eye-opener for me, I guess you could say. So, but it didn't take much to clear that up. So, up to this point, it was getting interesting, it was getting fun. We were kind of limited where we were at the time and what we were working with. So, like I said, as far as the pool toys went, I started buying. They were more props than anything else, just to get the kids doing more interesting things than just jumping in the pool. Because you can only, photograph that so much before it becomes stale. And the only real difference would be, if they're wearing different clothes or something. That's the only difference between the different shots. It's the same thing over and over, and it's not going to work for much time. So we started getting different pool toys for them. And again, the pool part of it was just practice. It was just learn better techniques. Like I say, by up to this point where I'm at right now, you can actually see a huge improvement in my pictures, as well as the videos. But like I say, the video itself, it wasn't the point of the whole thing. It was a bonus. So, conservation area, they started, I got them fish nets now, so they just kind of, instead of using a plastic bag on a stick, they actually have fish nets now. And they started catching snakes, and I actually learned some things. We have 3 main snakes in our area. We have the garter snake, the ribbon snake, and the northern water snake. So up to this point, we've seen the water snake, but the only thing that's been captured are for the most part, I think mostly ribbon snakes. So to me, I've always thought a garter snake and a ribbon snake were the same thing. Apparently they're not. They look alike. The only difference between the two is one's bigger than the other. I don't remember which one. So in order to really know the difference, you scare them. If they take refuge in grass, they're garter snakes. If they take refuge in water, they're ribbon snakes. That's the only way I can tell them apart. Spook them, see where they go for safety. So, but coming up, the northern water snake we will start to have experience with. And there's an adult that we call Big Boy. He's very large and he's very elusive. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just there documenting what's happening, but Daddy decides he wants to catch this monster. And he finally did. And it bit him. So, at this point, we don't know if it's poisonous or not. I know nothing about them. I didn't even know what they were called at that time. But after we got home, we did some research, and luckily for him, they're not poisonous. But they have some pretty good fangs on them, and it got him right in here. It got him pretty good. But it finally got caught. That is a fair-sized snake, and they're pretty strong. So as far as the boys' experience with them, they'll catch the young ones, the babies. They try to bite, but they don't have teeth, so they're not harmful. And through research, I found out we do have one more snake. I believe it's called a brown racer. It looks a lot like the water snakes, but they're tiny. They look like baby snakes. So I'm not sure if there's anything else. Now I was going to talk about what's happened so far, but at this point, we're still in June. I'm still in the first month. And this entire year was actually not too bad for me physically. My fibromyalgia started in February, and this series that we started was in June. And at this point, the headaches, the weakness, and the washroom issues, I think, were the only things that were really affecting me. And they weren't really interfering with what I was doing. So I didn't really have any issues with my illness during this first year anyways. As far as washing goes, there's outhouses there at the conservation area. No running water or anything, they're just like a hole in the floor basically. But there's something there, so that wasn't too much of an issue for me. So at this point, as we move on, the boys are going to start exploring. It's just going to make things a little more physical for me because I have to follow them through the bush and more walking involved, let's say. So what I was doing is I was taking lots of pictures, and I figured the more pictures I take, then the more likely I'm going to get some good ones, which is the way things worked out. After a day, I'd go through all the pictures, look, see what worked, see what didn't, and I got to learn what not to do, and kind of came up with new ideas. I saw what worked, and I kind of come up with new ideas of what to try, just for experimentation purposes. And I found that I preferred the full sunlight as far as lighting goes. I'd already used Fill Flash a few times. I'm not an expert with Fill Flash as far as getting the intensity right and that, but I started experimenting with that, and I didn't do too bad with it. But my main thing was to pay attention to the background. First of all, making sure the horizon's level. Like I had a problem with it at first, but I got pretty good with that. And just paying attention to the background. It's just sometimes one step to the right is all you need for a better background. So I was very conscious of what was going on in the background. And at some point, and it may have already happened, actually no, I don't think it happened yet at this point, but I made the decision where I don't want the boys to actually look at the camera or pose or anything. I just kind of got them to pretend I wasn't there. I think at this point is where that started, where I'm at right now. I'm pretty sure of it. And unfortunately, their dad never figured out my style. In the videos, you will constantly hear him telling the boys to move for me or look at the camera or do some kind of pose. Like, that's not what I'm doing. I just want to catch them doing what they're doing. I can't do that but you'll hear him, and it was so annoying. I constantly tell him, just let them do what they're doing. Don't get them to look at me. I don't want them to. He never figured that out. He never understood my style. So that was, as bad as it was, you can hear it in a video, and but I got to the point where, now if you've ever tried to photograph kids, it's challenging. So I kind of got to the point where I understood what it was they're doing, and I kind of, I don't know if I can say got into their minds, but I got pretty good at anticipating what they were going to do. This is the easiest way to put it. So I was able to get there before them because they're too fast for me. I unfortunately had to use the automatic features on the camera because I just wasn't fast enough to catch what was going on. I missed a lot in the first little while because of that. So I just set the camera on automatic, and but the biggest issue I've always had with photography is getting that perfect sharp focus. And that was always I'm not sure the word I'm looking for, but that was always the most difficult thing for me, getting that sharp focus. But automatic helped, but you know, it's like you're doing something quick, and there's no guarantee the camera's actually going to focus on what you want it to focus on when it's just kind of a sudden thing. So, but as far as exploration goes, we started going different places, even outside the conservation area. We found an old bridge that there was a new bridge that was replaced, and this one was just kind of left in place. Oh, bit of a whistle there. They never removed it, but it's blocked to car traffic. You can walk across it and that. Well, underneath that bridge, there's a really nice place by the river there where the boys could play. So we started going there as well. And as far as the conservation area goes, we started going to different places out there. I actually have a picture. I found it. I didn't know I had it. Of a group of trees. I'm assuming they're Manitoba maples because they're, just the way that they fell. Same type of tree I had beside my shelter in Hanover that was kind of an issue. But I do have a picture. There's several trunks sticking out like this, so I got a picture of it before it fell. Well, when we were out there doing the exploring, at least 2 sections of that tree had fallen, and one of them with the trunk was kind of curved, and it was on a steep hill, so it just kind of went out over the hill and then back again. And it was just, on one side it was like a 3-foot drop, on the other side it was like a 10-foot drop. So that's how steep the hillbank was. The hillside was. So, Zach was first to decide he wanted to cross that, and that became a destination for us at some point. It became known as the Bridge of Doom. And unfortunately that tree has fallen since. It's no longer in the air. It's on the ground completely now. It just kind of rotted to the point where it couldn't hold itself up anymore. But I was actually surprised. I have a picture of the Bridge of Doom while it was still a tree. That was kind of cool. And there are other places too. I can't remember exactly. There are other places that became a destination for us that we'd go to often. But it's just being around that pond. It's limited what the boys could do. So as far as catching bugs and frogs and snakes and frogs and stuff like that, it wasn't a whole lot more for them to do. Until they decided they wanted to go out into the water. Which is coming up soon too, in this first year. And that kind of presented more challenges for me, because now I'm thinking, okay, I can't squat beside them, I can't stand over them pointing down at what they're looking at or anything like that. They're in the water now, what do I do? So I started going out in the water with them. Yeah, well, not started, but I did. I went out in the water with them. And I went farther out. I've explained some of this already. I was farther out from the shore than they were pointing back at the shore. I was there involved in what they were doing. Let's just put it that way. I wasn't just, observing from a distance. I was actually there with them. And it was a lot of fun. It made for some good shots. I was going to bring my camera out with me to show. I forgot. At that time, the camera I was using, it's got the flip-up screen on the back. So there were times where I was holding the camera basically just above the surface of the water, looking down at the viewing screen. So, I couldn't get any lower than that. The camera would have been in the water itself, but it produced some pretty good shots. I was impressed. As far as the video goes that I'm showing, it's not going to get any better. Technically better, because 480p was the maximum that camera could do. At the time, it was good. At the time, I was happy to have a camera that would do video, basically. Because the first digital camera I had, it was like a keychain camera. It was like 0.2 megapixels or 0.02 or something. It was horrible. But it kind of introduced me to the digital world. And then I had a compact digital Concord IQ. The first one was a Vivitar. I can't think of what it was called. Then I went with the Concord IQ. And that was kind of a nice camera. It cost me like $200 or 136, I think it was. I don't know why I remember that. It wasn't too bad. I think it was 2 megapixel. Not 0.2, but actually 2. On the positive side. Pictures weren't too bad from it. It did do video, but it didn't. It was very limited. And it didn't record audio, just video itself. And there was no, I believe it didn't have a memory card. You were limited to the amount of memory it had inside it, and if I remember correctly, it was like 6 megabytes. I think 6 or 8. It was very limited, but it introduced me to the digital world. And that's really what got me back into taking the nature pics. So eventually I went with a newer camera. I went with my Fujifilm FinePix S5100, which was a really, really nice camera. The pictures were amazing from that camera. Yeah, I paid like $800-900 for it. At that time, it was crazy. But, I just got my new car. That's when I bought my Lumina. I paid $2,000 for it, which was absolutely amazing for that. But the minimum I could borrow from the bank was $4,000, so that's what I used to buy that new camera with, that extra money. So, yeah, it was good. It had the video capabilities, but like I said, it was limited because once I start doing video, the focus would lock and the zoom would lock, and it just, versatility is kind of lacking on it. And I started getting into a lot of things at that time. That was my first experience with doing any kind of video anywhere. So that's what kind of introduced me to things. And then the first day with the boys in the swimming pool, I realized that camera just wasn't going to work. So the very next day, upgraded. I was able to trade it in. I upgraded to the FinePix S9000. I think S9000. I'm pretty sure, and that one was in the $900 range. So it was getting up. It was a little more expensive, but I had full control of the zoom. I had full control of the focus. So I called them DSLRs. They're technically not. They're not SLRs. SLRs have SLR is single lens reflex, and the reflex part is it's got a mirror inside, which reflects the image coming in up to the viewfinder, and then when you take the picture, that mirror pops out of the way. So the Fujis didn't have that, which makes them bridge cameras. And a bridge camera, it bridges the gap between a point and shoot and the actual SLR. So it was a kind of a combination of the two. It was still a point and shoot basically, but it had the features of an SLR. And that's the easiest way to explain it. So the video quality is still the same between the two cameras, but the control over it was a lot better. And that's the camera I had throughout most of this series, the S9000. It was a beautiful camera. At some point I did upgrade to a Canon, an actual SLR camera, my Canon XSI. Beautiful pictures, lots of options. I had all kinds of different lenses for it and different attachments for different things. Unfortunately, it didn't do video, so I was limited to pictures. And at that point in time, things were kind of easing off anyways. The boys were more interested in spending time with their friends. And of course, getting older, they were starting to fight with each other. So it got to the point where it really wasn't all that enjoyable for me anyways. So it wasn't too big of a deal. But there was some times when I wanted the video. We had his friends that had moved out of town. They were coming to visit, and we were going to go out to conservation area and do some tobogganing, which, yeah, you'll also see that for the first time this year. And boys, tobogganing for the first time, that turned out to be a lot of fun. And there's a couple of scary incidents, but so they're gonna go out that, and I wanted a video camera, so I couldn't afford to just buy one at a time. So I went to Easy Home to pay, an astonishing price for one, but I could pay monthly on it, and that's what I wanted. So I bought it was a Sony, not a Handycam, but something similar. One of those little handheld, long, skinny cameras with a viewing screen on the side, put a strap around your hand. It was garbage. Yeah. It wouldn't keep focus. It would just spontaneously stop recording for whatever reason. It was just horrible, and it had the powered zoom, which I hate so much. So I got one day use out of it, and it went back. No, don't want that. It's garbage. It's not going to work for me. It's just going to anger me. So I don't want nothing to do with it. So at some point, I don't remember when, but I did end up getting another camera. I sold my S9000 to a friend, and I used that money as a down payment towards my Canon. As far as the one I have now, it's still a Fuji film. It's an HS10. It's got better. I don't remember the situation. I missed the video. I missed having that video capability, so I had to get that camera. It's capable of the video. It's my first camera that's actually HD 1080p. And that's the one I still have today. I don't have my Canon anymore. I sold it. I wasn't using it anyways. I just really not into it anymore. I have my HS10, so now it's kind of my go-to camera. If I need it, it's there. Although the power switch doesn't seem to work, I gotta play with it to get it to actually stay on, but it still works. So I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna keep going with this series. I don't care if people like it or not. I'm doing it for me. Like I say, this is the only time in my life that was, the closest thing to being perfect and enjoyable, and where I felt like I had a use. And it's making me feel good to actually finally get to share that now. So I'm doing it for me, and my boy's mother's enjoying it. She's liking the memories too. Right. Oh, excuse me. Bringing us back to a better time. Well, back when life was enjoyable. So I'm going to keep doing it. If you don't like the videos, you can just skip over them. I am doing other ones. As you see, I do 2 of these, and then I do a normal monster video, and then I do another 2 of the series, and then another. That's the way I'll be doing it. Not necessarily two in one, but I'll mix them. I'll put things together, give a variety. Because not everybody's going to be interested in these videos. I understand that. And sad to say, there are going to be people that are only interested in these videos. I mentioned before I wasn't worried about the comments, like earlier when I first brought this up. I wasn't worried about the comments because YouTube's been removing comments from videos with kids in them anyways. They seem to be easing off on that. I know of at least one channel that lost their comments originally. They're back now. They just spontaneously appeared again. So YouTube seems to be kind of lacking, and I haven't lost comments. I checked earlier today on all the videos, all the Footsteps Through Time videos that I've uploaded so far. Every one of them still has the comments, so I don't know. But I guess I'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I know, I'm not naive. I know it's going to attract those kinds of people. As sad as that is, but I'll deal with it as it comes. Like I say, I'm not putting the boys out for the first time. They're already out there, and they have been for a while, and we know what to expect. We've talked about it long before that even started. So, but like I said, the boys are adults now, so it won't bother me as much. It's not like someone else's kid's gonna be in my video that I don't have any control over. It's a completely different situation with this. So I can deal with it a lot better. I guess that's it. So I just wanted to give a bit of an update. What's happened, how I've just kind of evolved into it. And I think of one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is I'm not showing everything. Like I say, I found out early on that the more pictures that I actually take, then the more likely I'm going to get good pictures. There were days, like I remember one day specifically, there was over 1,000 pictures that I came home with, and I think 809 or 819 were actually good usable pictures. So no, and that's true with anything. The more pictures you take of a specific subject, the more likely you're going to get a good one. Right? And it's true with anything that you're taking pictures of. But with the boys, they're moving so fast, and trying to keep up with them. Like I said, I had to start anticipating what they were doing in order to actually be there when they got there. And I actually got pretty good with that. It got to be pretty impressive. I was able to do what I actually did, and that's just because of all the crap that's been going on around. It's just, I want to share that. I want to share how my life hasn't always been like this. There was actually good periods of time, and like I say, it's like I want to show you that. At the same time, I want to actually share it because it's making me feel good sharing a point in time that was fun, very fun. So, but like I said, not everybody's gonna like it, not everybody's gonna hate it, not everybody's gonna watch it. And that's okay. That is quite alright. So, if you dislike it, you can click the dislike. I got no problem with that whatsoever. It does not offend me. It's still engagement. Actually, if you don't like the video and just walk away, that's harder on my channel than actually clicking dislike. Clicking dislike is engagement. And that's what YouTube likes. As far as the algorithms go that determine which videos are what and which ones to promote and that, they use that. Likes and dislikes. Dislikes are included in that statistic. So clicking dislike is actually a good thing. So anyway, I've talked enough. I'm actually getting cold sitting here. I think it's getting colder out. It's pretty frigid today, so I don't think I have anything else to say. So other than I'm improving, things are getting better, and you'll see my images reflect that. So I'm pretty sure I have some in the next little while. I don't have any video at all on. I really hate doing the pictures. I hate watching slideshows, so I really don't want to make them, because I'm sure other people don't like them either. But on a video platform, how else am I going to do it, right? So, unless I come up with something different, I'm going to keep going the way I'm going. So, but like I say, if you want to watch them, watch them. If you don't. Ain't no big deal. So, anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to start rambling now if I keep going. Thanks for watching, guys.